Hey everybody, it's Brooke. I hope you're having a great night. I'm back with our grocery bag junk journal. Ugh, I'm so in love with it. So in love with it. We are going to embroider a pocket for our lovely grocery bag journal. This is the vintage eyelet trim that comes in the kit. I have to admit that yes, I have cheated on you guys. I did go ahead and make the pocket and it's glued in. Actually, honestly, what happened was, I'm not going to lie, I'm not lying. I did the video and it was horrible. I kept saying that I was just going to make you suffer with me, but then in the end I couldn't. So at any rate, I've already embroidered it. It's glued in the journal. So we're going to recreate the whole thing. So this is what it looks like. Let's see if we can find it in here. It's kind of pokey outy. You would think that it should be easy to find. Oh, there it is. Isn't it so cute? Look at that. Just a little vine and some little flowers glued on this coffee dyed page. Little pocket. And it's adorable. But yeah, that video was excruciating. It really was. So we're just going to do it over. So let me put that out of the way. And again, this is the fabric that I used and that is glued into the journal that comes in the grocery bag junk journal kit. Still a couple available, I think, in the shop. But this time I'm going to go ahead and just use a little piece of fabric. So if you don't have the kit, if you're just doing this with your stuff at home, which is awesome, any fabric will do. I have been known to go into the closet and find clothing that I'm tired of and rip it up and use the fabric for things like this. So any fabric will be just absolutely fine. And you do get, again, in the kit, you get a little bit of embroidery floss so you can try this out. If you didn't get the kit, you can use yarn. You may have embroidery floss in your stash. If you want to try it, embroidery floss is really inexpensive. You could just go buy a skein, whatever works for you. But you do get a little bit in the kit so you can try this out. And I already have a tangle. How like me. How very like me. Let's just cut that off because this is where it started to go wrong last time. All right, so I have pre-threaded my needles. Yeah, I'm doing you a favor, trust me. So I have a green embroidery floss and a pink embroidery floss. Ooh, there we go. And I have, this is an actual washable marker, a water-soluble marker, a couple bucks at the fabric store, or you can use a pencil, you can just wing it, whatever makes you happy. But I think this, if you're going to do any embroidery at all, this is really handy. And excuse me, yes, still congested. It's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm going to sketch a little pattern like the one that is in the journal already. And you can see this comes out a nice bright blue. And all that happens is when you're done, you run it under some cold water or spray it with cold water and the ink disappears. So that's terrific. And I'm putting in a couple leaf shapes. I'm putting in a couple dots because we're going to do some French knots. Easy peasy. All right. I think you guys can see that pretty well. You do want to make sure to cap this quickly because they dry out pretty fast. So what you're going to do is take the embroidery floss, and embroidery floss comes in 6 plies, 6 strands together, and I'm only using 3. So hopefully I can actually manage to split this up without it becoming a disaster, which is kind of asking a lot. As I've said before, people who are serious embroiderers pull it out 1 strand at a time and then reassemble it, but I don't, because I don't have the patience. So I took 3 strands out, so we've got 3 here, and got a needle here. Just gonna thread that right through, she says. Again, went horribly wrong in the last video with this, but look, I got it. And this is a really short piece. What I normally do is about 18 inches. And then to make a knot, you just make a regular old knot at the end. And she says, ha, 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 we can do it. That was incredibly awkward. I don't know why I was holding it that way. But you just make a knot. And these needles are fairly thick, so I'm going to go ahead and make a double knot. Start pulling it up, tightening it up, and then I use the needle to go ahead and pull it towards the end so you don't lose very much floss. And you just nudge it down, and I didn't do a very good job, but that's fine. Because the fabric that I use is fairly thin, you don't want a bunch of extra thread running around, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off right near the knot. So that would be what we were starting with. So I'll put that all to the side. Okay, so this is the thread that I already threaded and knotted so we wouldn't have such a brouhaha. And I'm just going to hold the fabric taut in my fingers. You could certainly use an embroidery hoop if you'd like to. But I'm going to bring the thread up from the back. And then I'm going to go back down real close to where we came out. And holding that thread with my thumb to try to keep it from tangling or anything. Then we're going to take the needle up to the top, about where we want it to terminate, where we want the loop to be. And just pull that thread. Ooh, I'm holding it funny, sorry. Just pull the thread up, not terribly tight because you don't want to lose your loop. And then put the needle right back in very close to where you came out, so you get a little stitch up at the top that's going to hold your loop for you. And you get a cute little loop. And that one's kind of tall. So if we go over here and do another one, I think I won't make it quite as tall. And you go up from the back, go back down close to where you came out. Then you can do it as a rocking motion if you'd like to. Bring that needle back out wherever you want the top of the leaf. You're going to take your thread. Oh, and I'm holding it way up again. Gosh, I hope I was in camera. Take your thread, wrap it right around, and pull it up. Again, just kind of guiding it with your thumb, keeping it from tangling, but you don't want to pull it real tight because you're going to lose your cute little loop. And there's a little loop. Doesn't matter if you don't cover the blue stem, or the blue outline rather, because it's going to wash right out. Then we can do a little bit of a back stitch to make the stem of our flower. So you're going to come up a little bit ahead of where you want to end the stem. Go in the fabric, rock that needle, and come up one stitch length away from where you came out originally. Go back in where you came out, bring your needle up about a stitch length, and go back in. Pulling it, not so super tight that you get something weird going on. You don't want to buckle the fabric or anything. You go back in where you came out, rock your needle about a stitch length away, and pull it up again. So then you've got a nice little back stitch. And again, I know you guys have seen me do this. Just going to hold the fabric and let that needle dangle. The weight of the needle will help untwist your embroidery floss so that it doesn't get knotty when you're pulling it through. So I'm going to do one more back stitch. Am I holding that way? Yeah, you can see that. Good. And so you see where the needle goes in, where we came out originally. It's coming out about a stitch length away. And then you just pull the thread. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in where we came out. And let's do another little loopy leaf. So that's going to be the lazy daisy again. So you bring your needle out and put it back in pretty close to where you came out. Bring your needle out where you want the end of the leaf to be, the tip of the leaf. Wrap your thread around. Pull it, but not so tight that you buckle the fabric or lose your loop. And then Put your needle back in real close to the other side of that loop. Then we're going to go back and do our back stitches again. So I'm going to come out about a stitch length away from where we stopped. Back in where we ended the stitch. Out a stitch length away. And keep doing that. And it does, I mean, this is homemade. You are not, maybe you are. I am not a professional embroidery sort of person, so I let it be pretty fluid, pretty easygoing. If you want it to be more professional, you can certainly be much more careful with your stitching to make the stitches more even. But I just kind of cruise along because I like doing it, and I like how it looks when it's a little uneven and organic looking. So we'll go back in that stitch there, do another fun little loopy leaf. I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller because generally as you get toward the top of a plant, the leaves get smaller. So I think I'm going to ignore where we drew that loop and make this leaf a little smaller. Just wrap your thread around, pull it up, and then back in right above the loop. And there you have another cute little leaf. You don't want to carry the thread on the back for great huge lengths because it will show through. So if you're going to do a couple different stems or something, you want to tie a knot it off on the back and then start over, because you don't really want that to show through. Well, maybe you do. It's certainly, I'm not your mom. If you want it to show through, go for it. So there's another back stitch. I'm going to do this cute little leaf here. And again, I'm going to make this one small. And I think what I'm going to do is do these French knots down closer. I think I'm going to ignore this and go ahead and make them closer down and make this be done. So go ahead and, you don't want to pierce any threads when you're doing this. It's like binding a book. You want to make sure you're not piercing the threads. I'll make one more small leaf. Bring that out like that. Wrap your thread around it. And poof, there's your loop. Back in to anchor it. And then I'm just going to do one or two, actually I think one more, shoot. And that can happen because we're getting way too close. So let me see if I can rethread this. It really is a pain. Once your thread gets this short, it's a much better idea to tie it off and start a new length of thread, because it's a real pain in the backside when the thread gets this short. It's funny, the lights for filming are almost so bright that I can't see what I'm doing. See, this is what happened last time. Oh, I was holding it up to try to thread it, sorry. This is what happened last time, when the whole video had to just be ignored and deleted because, man, it was bad. You guys would have run screaming away and never watched another video. All right, so plan B. What we're going to do is go back here. Can you see that? And normally I would mess around with this so that I could finish that one stitch. I don't know why I feel so compelled, but I pulled out the last stitch to give me a little more thread. I'm going to rethread the needle. And then to knot it off, just make a knot. And again, use your needle to, see if I can do this so you guys can see it. I'm blocking it all with my hand. Just use your needle to keep it down close to the fabric and get that knot as close to the fabric as you can. And there you go. Isn't it cute? Our little stem is very cute. And we'll cut this off. Wow, that needle was done being threaded. It was all set. Then we'll take our pink thread, and again, I've got it threaded and knotted, and you can see why, because you just ain't nobody got time to watch me do that. And we'll just put our flowers up closer. So we're going to do a French knot, come up from the back, pull it through, and I'm actually going to set the fabric down. It's easier to get the tension. What you want to do is hold, if you're right-handed, hold the thread in your left hand, wrap it around counterclockwise on your needle, and I'm going to wrap it twice around my needle and then put it right back in the fabric. And that's actually a colonial knot. If you do more than one wrap is a French knot. And I just use my thumb to hold it, keep it from tangling up or making a weird loop, and just pull it through slowly, and you get that beautiful little knot. Can you see that? So again, I'll try to do it holding the fabric up so you can see. Pull it, don't pull it so tight that you ruin your knot. Excuse me. No, I don't know if I'm going to put it down again, I'm sorry. Wrap the thread around counterclockwise twice. Put it back real close to where you came out. And then I hold the thread with my thumb like that to keep it under control. And pull your needle through. And I just go slowly to make sure that the thread doesn't run amok and try to do anything weird and loopy. And you can go up a little bit and do a few more. Let's see, I'm going to try again. Oh, here we go. I bet well, maybe no, I can't. Isn't that funny? I'm thinking in my head I'm going to hold it up and my reflexes just put it down. Hold that thread with your thumb, kind of guide it to make sure it's fine. And there's another beautiful little knot. Can you guys see that? Oh, yeah, I think you can see that pretty well. And so you just keep going with that as far as you want to. Take the pretty little flowers down the stem if you want to, whatever you like. And then to make a knot in the back, just make that knot like a regular one, like you'd knot anything, and use your needle to snug it up against the fabric like that. Boop. And there you go. And let me show you. I don't know if I have any. I don't think I have a water sprayer around here, but if you just get that marker wet, poof, it disappears. It actually disappears more than that if you saturate the fabric. And you get this beautiful pattern and all these cute little threads and textures, and it's really fun. I know, like everything, I make it look 100 times harder than it really is, but it's very rhythmic and it's very, I find it very soothing to do. And then we'll go back and look at the book where the pocket is living. Oh, there it is. And there you go. That's when you take a little bit of time and do a little more stitching. That's how it comes out. Isn't it so cute? So again, I can't recommend it enough. Embroidery is super fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it's your book, it's your embroidery. You can be pretty free and easy with it and just have a good time. So that is this installment of working in your grocery bag junk journal. And you can embroider every page, you can embroider no pages, make fabric flips, whatever works for you. But the embroidery is super fun, and I hope you guys give it a shot. So that's this one. If you like this video, if you got anything out of it, then please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. The nice old man will link all of our places where you can stalk us on the interwebs. And if you're interested in a junk journal kit, as I said, I think there are still a couple left, I think. So if not, go around, pick out your old clothing that you want to embroider on and the stuff out of your recycling bin, and make yourself your own grocery bag junk journal. They're wonderful, and I appreciate your time. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.